Time now for your forewarned weather with Cedric Haynes.
All right, let's talk about the visibility out there because we've been watching some very patchy but dense fog that has been developing here coming off of the Great Salt Lake this morning here. Visibility down to a mile or less in some spots, especially as you get there heading out on I-80 towards the Tooele County border there. So keep that in mind. You're going to see some reduced visibility at times if you're traveling, but notice how limited it is. If you head up towards North Salt Lake, heading over towards portions of East Mill Creek, over towards Holiday, down south, you're not going to run into any of this. So it's pretty much, particularly right around that I-80 215 corridor here. Here's another view. Now, this was pretty dense just about 10-15 minutes ago. Things have improved a little bit, but you can still see some of that fog showing up out there. But hopefully we just have this briefly moving on through. Now, the thing is, temperatures are well below freezing this morning. So we've got numbers down into the 20s and low 30s across the north. So again, I don't think it's a big problem, but be careful on some of those bridges around the 215 corridor just because there could be an isolated slick spot or two due to these temperatures. Look at those numbers down in the West Desert and the teens out there. 21 degrees in Hanksville, 23 in Moab this morning. Good morning in St. George. You're stepping out the door to temperatures in the mid-30s. As we go throughout today, expect highs in the low 50s across the north. Again, keep in mind our average high temperature this time of the year is in the upper 30s. So we are still going to be 10 to 20 degrees above average across the north. The average high in St. George is in the low 50s. We're going to be about 10 degrees above that for a high temperature today as well. So well above average temperatures despite the inversion layer, which is going to be across the north, which should limit or hold those temperatures down just a little bit compared to where they could be otherwise. But with that inversion layer, we know that's going to affect the air quality, so watch out for that moderate air quality, not only for the Salt Lake Valley down into Utah County, but as you get towards the north, Ogden Valley, Cache Valley, over towards Box Elder County, all going to be dealing with some of that moderate air quality as we go throughout the next couple of hours. So high pressure is reason why sitting on top of us, but it begins to give way. That'll allow for a little bit of moisture to move in, first across far northern Utah in the form of some cloud cover, maybe an isolated shower or two Tuesday as we go up towards Cache Valley, up towards the Utah-Idaho border, but I don't expect a lot of rain on Tuesday. Now, as we go into your Tuesday night, those clouds sticking up, the next surge of moisture moves in. That'll bring us around to valley rain and mountain snow shower activity as we go into your Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. And then the next round of moisture moves in with the actual front itself. That's probably the more widespread activity, but again, primarily focused on the northern third of Utah. That arrives as we go throughout your Wednesday, valley rain and mountain snow. After we get past that, we get a little lull into Thursday and early Friday, but I think another system could arrive just in time for the weekend. So you tally it up over the next 7 days. Now look at this. We're starting to slide that atmospheric river a little farther south. So I've got about 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch of liquid precipitation expected across the region. And as we look at the snowfall potential, sure, we could see a little light snow accumulations, primarily up towards the high Uintas as we get into your first system on Wednesday. But I think that chance really increases a little bit more for our mountains as we get into that weekend system. And again, notice we start to fill things into the north and west. So overall, the trend will be heading into next week. I think the atmospheric river starts to slide a little closer to the Beehive State, which increases the chance of storm systems moving into the area, potentially getting down to St. George by the time we get towards next week as we approach Christmas, because we're talking about above average precipitation chances even there. Fingers crossed. We sure do need it. St. George, 60s in the forecast here over the next 7 days. Not a lot of precipitation. Winter arrives on Sunday. Looks to be dry and not feeling like winter. The Wasatch Front, low 50s today, but we'll grab that storm system coming in Tuesday night into Wednesday, and that'll give us our first round. We'll get a little bit of a lull Thursday into Friday, but Friday night into Saturday, another storm system arrives, and as we get closer to winter, fingers crossed, we're looking like we're getting into a more active weather pattern. All right, let's get a check on the roads as we get you out the door this morning. Again, you'll be able to see, this is another view here from the I-80 eastbound I-215 west area. You'll notice some of that fog, reducing visibilities a little bit. I also wanted to show you this shot because I want to give you an update here that we are looking back here at the I-215, I-80 area there. If you're going to be getting on the ramp there, just know that it's going to be closing this morning at 10 a.m. and it will stay closed through early this afternoon, and that's because they're going to be doing some ongoing repairs to that that weather-related incident we had during our last big storm. So that ramp will remain closed through early afternoon, so you're going to have to find an alternate route. So if you typically take that 215 to I-80 ramp there, just keep in mind it is going to be closing today, so that's going to affect a lot of folks. We'll, of course, keep you updated on your traffic and weather as we go throughout the morning and have more updates as we go throughout the day. But for now, let's get you back over to Matt and Alyssa.